home of the stars, through the airwaves and on the big screen. Coming to you live from Hollywood, it's Rated G Radio with your host, Garrett Miller.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rated G Radio. We've got a fun show tonight. Our very special guest, MMA fighter, Mr. Reger, is going to join the show at the top of the hour. He's in mad training for his upcoming fight on October 10th, and we're going to be excited to talk to Rick at 8 o'clock. Of course, that's Pacific Standard Time. Wherever you are listening around the world, I want to thank you for being part of Rated G Radio, especially if you're listening on Westar Radio Network or Chat and Spin Radio across the pond in the UK. Big shout-outs to you over there. I'm looking at Facebook today. Y'all have Facebook, of course, you know. And on Facebook, I've had information that I've put on there. You know, you have your little profile and you put your about and where you worked, places you lived, and all this kind of stuff. So I go onto my profile page today to make some smart-ass comment about Diana Ross, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And it says, you know, add a brief bio, add information about you, and add up to 5 featured pictures. And I'm like, why the F am I doing that? Because I've already put all this crap on Facebook. So I go to my About tab, and my About overview, apparently that was my bio before, but now it's an overview. It, you know, where it says dog lover, messenger, sex symbol, radio host, singer, you know, all that other kind of stuff. That doesn't appear there anymore. And I cannot figure that out because that makes much more sense than having me put a quote-unquote bio on the left side of my Facebook page. That makes no sense. So for the bio, I put a smart-ass comment on there, and if you want to see what it is, you're going to have to go to my Facebook page. And then I put 5 featured pictures on there, which is totally fine. That's fine. I don't have any problem replacing more pictures of me on there that are already over Facebooked as they are. But then when I click on the tab that says add information about me, it takes me back to my About page where it gives me my overview, dog lover, messenger, sex symbol, radio host, singer, blah, 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 blah. Like, why is that information, why is it taking me there? You want me to put something new in? Help me out here, Facebook. Anyway, so the scandalous story of the day that I can't wait to talk about because it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and I'm going to take the post down shortly. So if you're listening live to the show, great, because you can go to your computer while you're listening to the show and you can see what I'm talking about. But because I don't like to post these types of articles because, and here I have posted the article, but I don't like to post these articles because then it just elicits all kinds of either comments or speculation or whatever the case is. I posted it because of the ridiculousness of the article and then the secondary questions it brings up. So there is a post going around on the internet. It says, Diana Ross, pregnant rumors flood the internet. And there's a picture of Diana Ross heading out to her car dressed all in black. And if she were, 40 years younger, would say, oh, she's, probably pregnant because she looks pregnant. But she's 71. She's not pregnant, and she's just Diana Ross. You got to love Diana Ross. But it really kind of bugged me that they would put this article up there as anything, and even put that on there that, is Diana Ross pregnant? The rumors are flooding the internet. I don't think they're flooding the internet. I think you just got a bad picture of a great icon, and you chose to write some really shitty story about this person and then make this news. That I just don't agree with, and I think that is really, really wrong. So if you have comments about that and would like to chime in, I will invite anybody who's listening tonight to call in at 323-657-1493. I'm open to chit-chat with you for the next half hour until Mr. Rick Reger comes on the line, and we'll be talking to him about his mixed martial arts fighting. So I have that. Also, just a couple little notes. Tonight, if you're in Long Beach, California, I'm in Huntington Beach, so it's just like right down the road. But if you're in Long Beach, right now, as the show is going on, there is a great live performance taking place with Stacy Baltus and Brian Pothier. Brian, of course, is my musical producer. And Stacy and Brian are playing at a place called Urban Table Cafe and Market at 5000 East 2nd Street. I don't know why I was going to say 5200. It's 5000 East 2nd Street. It's on the corner of 2nd and Argonne Streets in Long Beach, right off of the main, strip there. It's probably really close to Open Sesame. If I hadn't already eaten my vegetables for dinner, I'd stop into Open Sesame and have some hummus and some shawarma, because it's just the best ever. But I'm telling you this because Brian and Stacey are playing until 9:30 tonight. It's 7:30 right now, 7:35. And if you want to go listen to some live music, the second the show is over, I'm throwing a dress shirt on and I'm grabbing my car keys and I'm headed out the door, so I can go catch at least the last, the last 40 minutes, last half hour of their performance. I cannot wait for that. Brian's one of the most amazing guitar players I've ever had the privilege of hearing live and in the studio. And Stacey, I'm hearing wonderful things about, so I'm excited to hear how this lady is going to light up this place at Urban Table. And if you're there and you happen to see me, come say hi. We'll take a picture. We'll do a selfie or something like that, because I hate the camera. Also, we have a recent Rated G radio guest by the name of Yelpy. Well, his name is Alan Yelpy, but his stage name is Yelpy. And he has a song that we featured a few months ago called Feel It. And the music video for this has officially come out today. And you would say, well, why didn't you do the music video before, or whatever the case was? Well, indie artists, I'm one of them, folks. You got to pay rent. You got to put gas in the car. You got to buy some groceries once in a while, and maybe pay the electric bill. So it's not like you just have this flood of money coming in at all times, as wonderful as that would be. And so he made the single. He's been in the studio working on new music, and he finally has this great music video that's out. So I've posted that on my Facebook page as well. So if you'd like to go see that, I ask everybody to, number one, click it so it opens up in YouTube. You got to watch the video all the way through for that view to count. And then if you can leave a thumbs up or a comment, that would be cool. And I say that even before I tell you it's October 1st, and that means it's the month of Halloween. This month on the Garrett Miller Public Figure page, I have a contest that is out there. If you are not part of the Garrett Miller Public Figure page or the public group page, you should join. It's open to everybody. And with this, I've got an October contest that says, what do you like most about Halloween? Vote for your favorite or add one of your own and share your favorite memory of this sugar-filled spooky holiday. And this Halloween, one lucky winner will be drawn at random and will receive an autographed CD personalized and mailed to their home. What CD might that be? It might be my CD, Blonde Jesus. So I've got 10 questions that you can vote on, and all of the answers are great, but I'm really looking for people to share their memories of what Halloween means to you. And that could be, I remember the time in the 7th grade I dressed up as the Wolf Man and my costume fell off, because that kind of happened to me. So I'm here, going to my 7th grade dance. And I don't know, it's a long story, but the costume that was one of these newfangled costumes where you took it out of the box and it was kind of like this, foam stuff, kind of fit to your face, and you glued it to your face. Well, it's not really great if you're an oily teenager. But you painted the costume and the whole thing. It was really kind of cool at the time, probably a precursor to anything that Hollywood is doing. And I remember going to Waldo Middle School for the Halloween dance, and half of my costume on my face is falling off because the glue's not sticking. That would be a memory that just readily comes back to me, So I share that with you. But it looks like we've got a caller, so we're going to open up the phone lines here. We'll go to line 1 and say, welcome, caller, to the show. Who do I have the pleasure of saying hello to tonight?
Well, hello, Garrett. It's Wesley.
Wesley from,
yes.
my BFF from down south?
Yes, that would be the same. How are you doing?
Cow. What are you doing?
Well, I had to call and just chat with you, see how things are going, but I had something happen tonight that I had to share with you.
Oh, my gosh.
So if you're ready.
Yeah. Alrighty, tell me. What's been going on?
All right. So I am very skeptical about all of I get psychic readings, but I put that aside and I set up a psychic reading with none other than the famous Brett Butler.
You mean from Race Under Fire, from TV fame on ABC?
Yeah, the one and the same.
Oh my gosh!
And so it was supposed to be a 30-minute reading, and that's what I expected, to be 30 minutes from start to finish. And one of the first things that she said is, I'm seeing a 1983 Buick. It's a goldish brown Buick. Do you know anybody that has that? And I'm like thinking to myself, oh my God, she could not know this. And I said, yes. I said, yeah, that car does ring a bell. She says, okay. And I see an older lady driving. And I said, yes. Well, turns out that she had not looked me up or anything, because that car is not online, nothing like that. And so I said, Brett, that is one of my grandmother's cars of mine. And then she said, okay, this is your mother's mom, correct? And I said, yes. And she just was so intuitive. She knew so much that she just could not have known. It was not cold reading, because I was expecting her to say, okay, do you know someone who has passed with the first name that starts with G? That's what I was expecting. She just knew. She says, okay, and this person was called what, Granny? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, just she knew everything, and it was so crazy. And we ended up talking probably an hour, and I was just so blown away by the fact that, this person who doesn't know me from Adam knew so much about my history, about the, past people in my life, and she told me things that I had even forgotten. But as soon as she told me, I'm like, wow. Well, during the call, I was driving. And so she says, I really don't like to do readings with people driving. So can I call you back in about 5-10 minutes while you pull off the road? And I said, of course. So I just took the first exit, and it didn't dawn on me till I parked. It was the same truck station where my granny and pops would pick me up as a child in their 83 Buick.
No.
Garrett, I have passed by this place probably 100 times since they passed away, and I've never stopped. And it was just like, something is happening. And I'm like, I was a skeptic when I first set it up, and I was expecting it to be nothing. And this reading was supposed to happen almost a week ago, but things kept happening with her, and so she couldn't do the reading. And I said to her, had the reading gone as scheduled, none of this would have happened. I said, you could not have known that I was driving home, and you could not have known that I would be pulling into the same truck station where, they picked me up for years. Every 2 weeks, we would meet at that same truck station.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And the fact that I got to talk to Brett Butler was just awesome, and she is just so amazingly cool and, just so not full of herself at all.
Wesley, how did you find out about this? Or how did she tell you how she has come to do this now for a career?
She told me. She says that about 20 years ago that there was a psychic who was very, very good and, used to be on the late night talk shows all the time. And then I'm like, told her, Brett, you have the gift. You should do this. Well, she said, yeah, right, whatever. And at that time she was doing her shows and, doing all this, so didn't really have time for all that. And she said in about the past 5 years she has really gotten in sync with her ability. And, she said, I started doing it, but not to gratify myself, but to help other people. And while we were talking, she says, take this for what it is. She says, but you do have the gift. She says, just the voices and the people that are talking to me, it's like there's a room full of 20 people that are just all talking at once, trying to communicate with you. She said, they are all
Did that freak you out?
On your side. It really did, and I'm very glad that I pulled over, because I would have probably wrecked the car. But, she was just so amazing. And, she said, now, look, I am going to email you from my personal email account. Please don't give it out. She says, but I want you to do an exercise, and it's basically you just draw a line down the middle of a piece of paper in a, book, and she says, make sure that this is a book that has not been written in, won't be written in again except for this exercise. She says, are you right-handed? I said, yes. She says, you are to write only on the right side of the line that you draw in the middle of the paper. And she said, you just write down the first things that come to your mind, the first thing that you think, followed by the first 3 names. And she said, as this, goes on, she says, it's supposed to be for 14 days. Most people only do it for 5 or 6 for 2 reasons. Number 1, nothing happens. Number 2, something happens. She says, I believe that you have this gift. She says, and during this process, I will be communicating with you via email, telephone, whatnot. She says, because I really want to know how things are going with this. And it just blew me away that, first of all, someone that I've never met before in my life knew so much. And someone who is, so well known would just take an interest in me and say, okay, I'm going to call you. I'm not on the clock. I'm not charging you. I'm going to call you. I'm going to message you because this is shocking to me. So it was a very, very interesting hour. And
Good for you.
I knew that you would like to hear the story, but I just could not.
Wesley, you've been with the show since like day one, and you know that I've had, I had the show with Rebecca, who's an intuitive psychic. I have other psychic types of guests on the show on a regular basis. Yes. And I think, it's like before I did the show and before I met Rebecca, I will tell you, if somebody came up to me and says, and Rebecca's lying to me, and I still tell her this all the time, and we kind of joke about it. When I tell the story, it's meant for, a little comic effect. But I always say, when I first met Rebecca, didn't know anything about her, didn't know anything about what she did or anything like this. I met her as a client for moving. And when we're done with our appointment, we walk out to the car, and she tells me, by the way, I am a little bit psychic. And I looked at her like, I think you're a little bit nuts. But I just said, okay, fine, whatever, and left it at that. And then it wasn't until about a year and a half later she made contact with me again. We got talking, and the next thing I know, within 30 days, we're doing a radio show 5 nights a week. And I learned to understand and appreciate the gift that she has. And for everybody that's out there going, what, psychics are, a bunch of hooey or whatever, that's fine. I don't ask you to believe what I believe. That's fine. But I do think that there are people out there that have certain skills and talents that are, we say, aren't necessarily explainable. And I think that is very interesting to me at this point in my life. And so for the fact that, you, for some reason, and I want to have you tell me this next, but for some reason found out this is what she does and decided that you wanted to do, a reading with her, I think that is very, very cool. So how did you find her to figure out that she's doing this?
Well, I was watching her old show, Grace Under Fire, and I was like, I wonder what she's doing now. So, of course, I went to trusty Google, typed in her name, and her website is www.realbrettbutler.com.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I went onto her site, and it's just, on this site, it is not a boastful site at all. She just kind of blogs about things that are going on, and then I saw a link that said psychic greetings. I'm like, huh. So I clicked on it, and, honestly, she's pretty cheap to be, wait a minute.
Well, let's not go into what she charges or anything like that. So let's.
No, I'm not.
Well, okay. Okay, so you made contact with her and decided you wanted to go and have a reading.
I did, and mainly when I first did it, it was like, I'm going to get to talk to Brett Butler, and that was really the whole draw to me, was be able to talk to someone that I had watched on TV and so on and so forth. And within the first 5 minutes, she made me feel so comfortable. It wasn't like I was talking to someone that has been on TV and so on and so forth. She just was like an old friend.
Cool.
And I'm telling you, if you can do it, I would get a psychic reading with her in a heartbeat. And this evening, when I said to her, I'm going to, first thing I do when I get home, I will purchase, one more reading. She says, oh, no. And first thing she says is, oh, no, you won't. I'm going to contact you. She says, freebie, because you are such an interesting case. You have so much power that you don't even know about. There are so many people on the other side trying to contact you. She says, I just want to, basically experience this with you. And I thought that was just amazing. I just was like, that is so amazing.
Let's face it, you are an interesting character.
That's true.
See, so
that's true.
There you go. Well, okay, so we've plugged Brett Butler for 10 minutes here, which is very, very cool. I would love to have her on the show. So next time you talk to her, say, hey, Garrett wants to visit with you and, see if we can get something hooked up. So outside of that, how's life? What's been going on for you in your exciting world?
Well, life is going actually pretty well. I do have a new job that I am loving.
What are you doing?
Taking care of slot machines. I am fixing slot machines.
Okay.
That is my life now. I fix slot machines so that they work.
Okay, so I'm going to tell the listeners something that they may not know about Wesley. Wesley is one of these people that knows everything about anything that has anything to do with electronics. And you say, how could that be possible? I don't know. Some people just are really gifted that way, and that's kind of like Wesley's thing. And off the record, Wesley is my go-to person anytime that I say, Wesley, my iMac is acting up. Can you, remote in and make it act like it's not a piece of crap anymore? And so Wesley, out of the kindness of his heart, will, help me out every once in a while when I get into a bind, and he's been absolutely fantastic. So this does not surprise me that this is what you're doing. How did you find out about this job?
Well, I was just searching one day online. I'm like, I don't really like what I'm doing. I need to see if there's something else. And so I saw this slot technician job, and I said, I'm just going to apply. And I applied one morning. They called me the next morning, and I was hired the following morning. Come to find out, it usually takes 3 to 4 weeks to get hired by this company. And,
wow.
And the entire process was done in 3 days. And they said it was because I had so much, I look at the resume about schooling and, all that I had done with computers and technology. And I haven't looked back. I absolutely love it. And it pays decent enough. It's just really made me very happy that I can go do something that I enjoy doing, and it never gets old.
Right on. So what's a typical day like for you then when you go into the casino?
Well, usually the first few hours is paying off jackpots, and that's usually very fun. It's usually a lot of fun to go up to one of the guests and say, "Hey, way to go! You just won X amount of dollars." The highest one I've paid off is $49,000, and the lady just sat there, just so cool, calm, and collected. And I said, if I had just won $49,000, I would need new shorts. And she's just so cool, calm, and collected. And I'm like, oh, my God. And then, of course, we have guests who are like, well, I put this much money in the machine. Why can't I get more out?
Right.
And I want to say because we are not casino savings and loan. We are a casino. But
so do people ever give you like tips or kind of like a reward when you're paying them out? What's kind of like been the biggest tip or the strangest thing that you've received?
The lady that won $49,000 tipped me $1,000.
Get out of town, really?
Mm-hmm. And that was actually a pretty low tip for that kind of money because most people that will come to the casino a lot, no matter what they win, if it's over $1,200, it has to be hand paid because we have to take out taxes.
Gotcha.
But most people will tip $100 no matter what it is. So most of my pay is off of tips. But I'm telling you, we have some people who, will just hit jackpot after jackpot after jackpot every night, and it's nothing to them to tip in a night's time $1,000.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask you this, because I'm not a big fan of Las Vegas, and I haven't been to the casino. Obviously, I've never, been to your state. So, Are there secrets for people who play the slot machines to be winners, or how does that work that they're so lucky?
The machines are set up to pay, a certain, amount of what they take in. I don't know what that rate is. I know that it's over, probably 80%. In the state of Mississippi, it has to be 82% or more. But really and truly, the best time to play is when there are a lot of people, because the machines will pay out more as they're played more. But there is no tip or trick to it. There is no tip or trick.
If the casino's crowded, it's a good time to play.
Yes.
Okay, that's the secret, everybody. If you want to go to, and if nobody's in the casino floor, don't think, okay, I'm going to play now because now it's nice and quiet. I'm going to just hear my jackpot ring. It's actually going to be everybody else. So, hey, Wesley, this has been fun. We're going to have to catch up more often, and everybody who loves hearing you call in, we'll always say, Wesley, call in more often. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. But I'm going to let you go because I need to get ready for our MMA mixed martial arts superstar, Mr. Reger. He's going to be calling in just a second. And everybody wants to hear what's going on in his world as well. So, Wesley, congratulations on your reading with Brett Butler. Keep me posted on how things are going for you. And we will talk to you soon. Right on. Thanks, Wesley.
All righty.
Take care. Okay, everybody, I'm going to play a quick commercial from It Matters Radio. They're a new radio station that I'm I don't want to say partnering with, but I'll use that for tonight. I'm partnering with them to do a little cross-promotion, and this is a little commercial from them. When we come back, we'll have Mr. Reger with all his big muscles, and he's going to be talking about all of the whoop-ass that he's going to be laying down in just a couple of weeks. So stay tuned.
Welcome to our discussion of It Matters Radio. Our guest today is Angus McWilliams.
Aye, laddie, let's get on with this thing. I'm on my way to a birthday party for Nessie.
You're throwing a birthday party for the Loch Ness Monster?
Well, first of all, it's not a monster. And second of all, I'm talking about niece Nessie. She's a wee bit of a lovely lass.
I see. Well, okay. Angus, can you give us your thoughts on It Matters Radio?
Aye, wonderful people. They had me on a while back to talk about my book.
Your what?
My book. I wrote a book about the adventures in Scotland.
Oh, I see. A book.
That's what I just said. What are you, deaf, man?
It Matters Radio focuses on discovering new talent and bringing important indie artists on the air. Monica, Kenneth, and Carrie offer up meaningful conversation on new music, books, and fun topics. It's unlike any other radio program known to man and woman alike.
You can say that again.
Known to man and woman alike.
Just because I said you can say it again doesn't mean you have to say it again.
I'm just doing my best to show everyone that It Matters Radio basically brings variety, fun, and entertainment with a sincere desire to discover new topics and talent.
Oh, why didn't you just say that?
I just did.
Hey, laddie, remind me when I can listen.
It Matters Radio is on every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
You Americans with your different time zones. We only have one time zone in Scotland.
And that would be?
That would be the time to down a pint or two of ale.
It Matters Radio for the best in conversation, music, books, and entertainment. Join us Thursday evenings at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Discover the depth, diversity, meaningfulness, caring, guest-focused, friendly, enjoyable atmosphere of It Matters Radio with Ken, Monica, and Carrie.
Oh, that's a mouthful if I ever heard one.
Yes, and I'm going to go brush my teeth now. It Matters.
Champion of the world, Rick Boomer Reger. Rick, congratulations on your win. How are you feeling, champ?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great. Ready for my next challenge.
This is Daddy and me. We are champion fighters, and Daddy wants to win the belt for me.
Training all aspects, so I'm always ready wherever the fight goes. This match I've been training real hard, putting in a lot of work for the champ.
Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? touch. This octagon, my rest haven. When I hear let's get it on, that's worth to my son. It's time for you to hit the pavement. Left, right, watch the uppercut. Can't run now, time to knuckle up. Crowd won't cheer till they see blood. Do you really want to out of your league on another level? I shine harder, grind harder. Call my own lane, never been a follower. Who would ever think I'm not the hardest? TKO, hello? It's your competition, get dropped like whack artists. My goal is to drop every single target. Focus, never get distorted. Tattoos everywhere, homie. Represent the city I'm from. Motivated by the haters. Without you, this wouldn't be fun. Mama said my screws is loose. Where's the booth? I need to vent. Got two options, get knocked out or tap out. Finish. Yeah. Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up?
No peace, no peace. A piece off the leash, monkey increases the beef. I feast, I eat 2 piece. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, sleep. 5 on it to my feet. Believe, achieve, I'm perceiving, I'm focused. Straight to the top, navigating, I'm floating. Do my own thing, double all the closing. Reap the benefits on my victory flawless. Seconds can't stand my hustle. Fast pace, too much muscle. Too much pain, too much struggle. Ground game, leading puzzles. Shout out to all of my sponsors. They turn me into a monster. Shout out to all of my opposition, my competition. Call my condition. My condition turn me to an animal. Position turn me to a cannibal. I'm sick, son, I need an antidote. No submission, boy, I'm an animal. They be mean mugging, so I see the hate. All the hate is like motivation. Time is money and I'm growing the patient. I'm a nightmare like West Raven.
Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to knuckle up? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Are you ready to knuckle up?
Old men forget that all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in their mouths as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter.
And with that, we are welcoming back MMA superstar, Mr. Rick Reger to Rated G Radio. Rick, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's been a hot minute since we've had a chance to visit with each other. What's been going on in your world?
Oh man, for a while there, a lot of bad, and now back on the rise. You know, a lot of good's coming my way.
I love hearing that.
Personal issues, so yeah, no, definitely. You know, facing adversity, you know, it's no problem, man. Overcome it and get ready for the next obstacle.
That's the heart of a champion. You know, if you get knocked down a little bit, you got to get back up and get back in the fight. It sounds like that's what you've been doing. So, when was your last MMA fight? Because it's been a little bit of time, hasn't it?
Yeah, actually, it was last year, February. It's been a while. Yeah, definitely. You know,
so what's it like?
I said, I took that fight short notice and ended up taking a loss, and you know, I just wasn't in the right mindset, so I had to get back to the drawing board and get a few things figured out before I put myself back in that situation.
I was going to ask, you know, what kind of you know, preparation you have to go through, because I have like a ton of questions about your training and, you know, being mentally fit, you know, for this and just like really in the right frame of mind. So when did you decide, you know what, it's time for me to get back in it?
Well, you know, unfortunately, like I said, I had gone through a little situation in my personal life, you know, and it was kind of a setback, but also it was negative, but it was also positive, you know, because it gave me got me back into the gym and got me back, just basically taking up my time, you know, so trying to keep my mind busy.
So
but it was just recently, actually, you know, I'd say probably like 4 or 5 months ago.
Cool. So how long does it take and by the way, you're not the average person, so when I say this, it's just how it rolls off my tongue, but how long does it take the average person who does MMA fighting to train and get ready for any type of a bout?
Well, you know, I don't believe in these training camps or these specific time frames. It's like I've been fighting my whole life on the streets or whatnot. So it's there's no real set time frame. It's a lot of these guys got this mindset where they need 8 weeks to train and prepare for a certain fighter and to be able to make weight. And I'm not that type of person. I feel like if the money's right, we can fight. And that's about it. I'm not really worried about my opponent. I respect anybody that gets into the cage, by all means. It's not an easy thing to do, or slash into the ring, But as far as training for a specific opponent, I'm just trying to be the best man I can be in and outside the cage.
So what's a typical training day for you like? What do you do when you arrive to the gym to the time that you go home and put your head on the pillow?
Well, I've had to custom my workouts quite a bit lately. I'm coaching my son's football team, and I was coaching my daughter's softball team, so I've been spread kind of thin. So it's more like whenever I have an opportunity, I'm training. In the morning, I wake up and run. I like to hit the gym early after my run, get a nice little break. See, the thing with MMA is, man, the sport's so versatile. You have to train in every martial arts. And, you have to be well-rounded. So you got to try to really prioritize, 8 different martial arts into one, for every training day pretty much. I like to, my favorite is working my boxing and my jiu-jitsu. So I favor those two.
And I honestly, in our last conversation, I don't even think I even thought about that. But you're right. You have all of these different styles. So do you try to become an expert at all of them, or just be like really good at a couple of them? What's been your secret?
I'm just, I think I'm just a well-rounded fighter. I wouldn't say that I'm excellent in any specific field. I would just say that I'm decent in everything, and I try hard to be well-rounded. That's the thing. It's like we come across, and it's really like a chess game, right? It's really about exposing a weakness and capitalizing. So you want to be somewhat prepared in every aspect.
So do you when you're training, do you train to be more defensive for those areas that you're, I don't want to say weaker in, but maybe aren't necessarily your strongest? Do you practice defense more than you try to, figure out, okay, I'm going to have this wicked, crossbar, chicken arm, leg drag, crossface, something or other that's going to get them to tap out in 3 seconds. What,
I love that terminology.
But how do you practice for that? If you know that, do you say, okay, on October 10th, I'm going to go meet this person, and this is what they're known for, or do you just? Well, I don't know. I should ask you. What do you do?
No, like I was saying, it's just take it day by day, and I'm just trying to improve my skills and my attributes every day. I don't really look at it like, okay, this guy's really good at jiu-jitsu, so I need to improve my jiu-jitsu. No, it's MMA. This guy's really good at jiu-jitsu, but what if I knock him out? He can't do no jiu-jitsu knocked out. Or vice versa, like, all right, well, this guy's a, world champion boxer. Well, that don't mean shit if he gets picked up and slammed on his head.
Yeah,
it's just really about playing off your strengths and improving your weaknesses.
Yep. Now, one of the things that I was really impressed with when I met you in person was the fact that you said, a lot of the things that you're doing really have to do with like the diet that goes along with exercise. What is do you have like a typical daily meal plan or a structure on how you plan to eat? I'm probably assuming you probably don't eat large pizzas and buckets of ice cream.
Okay, so yeah, I eat a lot of ice cream, unfortunately. That's my weak spot.
Really?
Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's my weak spot.
So
my logic is this: it's like you don't want to trick your body with putting a million different things into it, and then it can't even filter out what goes to what and what we can use and what we can't use. So I try to keep it pretty not so much organic, but pretty basic, and pretty consistent. A lot of lean protein, a lot of vegetables.
You're eating the right way, though. So what are things that you are outside of ice cream? Do you have trigger foods that you really try to stay away from?
No, that's pretty much it. The ice cream.
Ice cream.
Gets
Okay.
me every time.
You got to have the one thing. So let's talk about your fight here, because you are coming back to the Thunder Valley Casino Resort in Lincoln, California on Saturday, October 10th. What is that event going to be like? Rick, I'm losing you a little bit of your signal here.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. So start over. What's going on the 10th of October? What's happening for you?
Okay, well, so, I would just tell everybody expect an exciting card. That's the thing with these regional shows. There's going to be a lot of top high-level athletes competing on these shows, and they're just not well known yet, right? So you never know who you're going to run into there. We're fighting for a regional organization that, man, these guys like Uriah Faber has fought there, Danny Castillo. There's just high-level local guys that have fought on these cards before they got to the UFC. And another thing, too, is, man, you can always count on a lot of knockouts, right? That's plain and simple. In these regional shows, guys aren't they're not so scared to lose that they're not trying to win. These guys are going out there trying to bang, choke out, knock out, whatever they can do to pull off the victory.
So do you know how many fights are going to be on the card?
That varies, changes so often because fights fall off left and right. At this point, I believe there's 12 fights on the card.
Nice.
With a UFC veteran and a Bellator veteran fighting for the heavyweights.
Nice. Yeah, because it's some of those fights that they go on for a little bit, but then some of them they get in there and like with you go and knock the guys out, Rick, and the fight's over in 10 seconds. Okay, thanks. If all 12 fights were like that, you'd be at other 20 minutes. That wouldn't be any good.
They'd want their money back.
Exactly. So
well, that's the.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's the good thing about MMA. Like I said, it's such a versatile sport. You never know what's gonna happen. Guy might come out, throw some punches, knock him out. You might get a good D1 wrestler who come out and some wrestling skills, jiu-jitsu practitioner that's high level. Most of the time, when these guys are that high level, you don't really know what's going on until something breaks or somebody's asleep. So.
Yeah, right, exactly. So for everybody who's listening right now, we've got MMA fighter Mr. Rick Reger. He's going to be appearing at the Thunder Valley Casino Resort on Saturday, October 10th in Lincoln, California. You can get tickets at 925-890-1126. That information is right here on the Rated G Radio show page. You're looking at it right now, and if you'd like to find out more, there's a click here button. Click there, and it will take you to Rick's Facebook event page. And if you want to click around and find out more information or just hear what people are talking about, I encourage you to do that. Now, Rick, who are you fighting on the 10th?
What's that?
Who are you fighting on the 10th?
Tremaine Smith.
So tell us about Tremaine Smith.
Actually, he's a local guy. He's a banger. I'm not gonna lie. He's a tough dude, man. He's fought all the who's pretty much. Hey, you guys come here at this level, in the regional shows, and he's a pretty well-rounded fighter himself. I think he comes out and looks to bang, so I'm gonna come out and look to bang. So it should be an exciting fight.
Well, I'm telling you, you've got an impressive picture that I stole off of your Facebook event where it's like you and your team. I would not want to meet you in a dark alley.
Man, I'm really a nice guy. That's the funny thing.
Well, you are a nice guy, but I'm going to tell you, you got the look in the octagon there with your four guys, that are your trainers and your staff there, and they look like, they're all going to eat you for dinner or something like that. So it's, really kind of cool.
That's my crew, man. They got my back.
So let's talk about your crew. Who's on your crew, and what do they all do for you?
Oh man, I've been truly blessed, honestly. I have my home gym, which is Fight Court MMA and Fitness, and that's with Carl Sherrock, my boxing coach, Sean Sharkey, my MMA coach, Ryan Elrod, Shane Wheaton, Travis Wilkins. The list goes on and on, But then I've also see that the good thing is that because I'm a Gracie fighter as well. I've been knowing Cesar Gracie pretty much my whole life. I've been able to train with Nick and Nate Diaz and Gilbert Melendez. It's been a blessing to be able to train with these high-level athletes.
Well, and I think it's really telling for how fighters progress based on the level of the training that they receive, because obviously, the higher level of training that you get, the better you're going to do. And I think if you're tied in with the Gracie folks, that's a name synonymous with mixed martial arts fighting for years and years and years. So that's really cool. What are you looking forward to most about Saturday the 10th?
Just getting back in there, it's one hell of a feeling. The only way I can relate it is, back in the day playing football under the lights. It's just an awesome feeling to be out there, and knowing too that it's a one-on-one sport. Like, yes, it's a team sport. We do have a team, but also all the work that I put in is going to pay off. Right?
Nice. I love it.
And it's kind of touchy. It's kind of a touchy situation because one mistake and it's all over. There's no next inning. There's no fourth down. Nah, you make one mistake, you might wake up in the back room. So it's kind of exciting. It's like a little adrenaline thrill for me.
Well, absolutely. And I was going to say that it's one of these things where, you said it just a second ago that, if you make one little mistake, the next thing you know, you're on the floor, or you've tapped out, or you're asleep. And obviously you don't want that to happen. What's been one of the biggest things because sometimes in losing there's a little bit of winning that goes on from a learning perspective. But what's been one of the major learning lessons that you have picked up in your years of doing MMA?
Well, that's really a good point. We say that you either win or you learn, because that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So out of 12 fights, I have 2 losses that were both from not tapping out, right? One, I got my elbow dislocated and continued the fight. The doctor stopped it at the end of the fight. The next one was to a rear naked choke where I didn't tap out, so I got choked and unconscious. Now, the thing that I took from this, right, is just that your mind is a lot stronger than your body. People are. I heard everything you can hear from people when I dislocated my elbow and kept fighting, and they couldn't believe it. And yes, there is an adrenaline rush, that kind of carries you through it. But also too, man, your mind honestly is so strong that if you have the willpower to push through, you're gonna push through. I was getting choked and I was just thinking, okay, his arms are gonna burn out before I go out. Now that wasn't the case, but
that wasn't the case that time. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where we're already here, right? We already put in the work. Might as well push it to the extreme.
I love that. So, do you have, as you're getting ready to enter the octagon again, do you have any surprises up your sleeve, so to speak, for Tremaine? No surprises really. Just I've been training hard. I'm sure he's been training hard. I plan on touching gloves and rushing to the middle and let my hands go. There you go. Hey, I got a question for you. I saw that you are promoting, I think maybe it might be your team, but indoor flag football. What's that about?
Oh, yeah. So quick shout-out to my buddy, Dennis Havrilla. It's a local kid I grew up with. There's just a handful of us that just didn't really have too much to start off with and kind of made a little bit of it something out of nothing. He's a good dude. He's actually a quarterback in the AFL. He's been bouncing around a little bit. Played for the SaberCats, playing for Las Vegas Outlaws right now. One of my good childhood friends, and he actually puts that on. So I just showed him some love and reposted it for him.
Nice. Well, okay, that was really cool. I didn't know. I thought, well, maybe here, because let's face it, Rick, you are a man of many talents and abilities. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're running like a championship, football team as well. So I had to ask about that. Do you still have all the animals?
No.
That's part of.
I'm not really.
Okay. And so I guess going back to the MMA fighting here for the 10th of October, again, everybody, it's going to be at the Thunder Valley Casino Resort in Lincoln, California. You can get tickets at 925-890-1126. Rick Reger is going to be there, and he's going to, be knocking his opponent out, probably first round. go there for the other 11 bouts where, people are going to sit there and struggle. But, Rick's going to kick ass and take names in his effort there. Rick, any last words of wisdom or shout-outs that you'd like to give to folks before I let you go tonight?
I want to give you a shout-out for always showing me love. I appreciate it.
Well, you're the
Such
champ,
a good guy,
of course.
Now, I just want to give a big shout-out to Boomer Nation. All my any fans, friends, family, everybody that supported me along the way, especially that's been by my side through all the dark times. It's easy when everything's all good, but it's when you're down and out, you see who really has your back, So it's a good feeling. I want to give everybody some love back.
Mr. Rick Reger, go check him out. Go buy the tickets tonight and go see some MMA fighting on Saturday, October 10th. Again, Thunder Valley Casino Resort. For more information, there's a little click here button on Rated G Radio for the show page tonight. Please do that. Rick, it's been a pleasure having you on. I'm going to expect to see your arm raised in victory and have that posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and every place else that you're at. So good luck, and the door's always welcome here for you.
Hey, and everybody can follow me on Instagram. It's KingRick925, and my Twitter is rboomerreger. And let's see, on Facebook, I got my fan page, man. Just go ahead and check that out for any up-and-coming fights.
Do it. Everybody on. Right on. Rick, it's been a pleasure. Have a great night. I appreciate your time.
Right on. You
Thanks
too. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you betcha. Anytime. Hey, everybody, in light of this, I'm going to play a little song by one of my new favorite indie bands. They are over here from New York, and it's Mr. Kwamea's Shakedown. This is his song, Hang On. We're going to be back right after this. Hang on. Shakedown. That's the name of the band. Well, it's actually Kwame Banana. His band is called the Kwame Banana Shakedown. And that's Hold On. I love it. Go out and support live independent music wherever you're at. I'm going to be doing that in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll be heading out to Long Beach to go see my producer Brian Pothier and Stacy Baltus play at Urban Table in Long Beach, 5000 East 2nd Street, corner of 2nd and Argonne, and they'll be there till 9:30. So I got to race out the door to get there, get parked, and then go hear about a half an hour of music. I cannot wait for that. If you've been listening this week, you've heard all these fantastic guests. Big thanks to Wesley out of Mississippi for calling in and talking about his psychic reading today with Brett Butler. You'll remember her from Grace Under Fire. We're going to see if we can get her on the show. That would be really cool. And then, of course, MMA champion fighter Rick Reger. We're going to wish him well for his October 10th fight. Thank you for being here tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to back up in just a second, but tomorrow we've got a band out of Scottsdale, Arizona called Seven Causes. We're going to have the frontman Dan Ostiak on the line. They've got a new EP out with 4 killer tracks, and we're going to play all of them for you to hear. And there's one I really like. It's very commercial, meaning, like top 40 radio. Can't wait to have Dan on the show. I've known him for years. We'll talk about, I don't want to go down memory lane when I have Dan on the line, but we're going to have to do that because I think Dan just is an awesome guy. He's got a fun story, and he's got a book out and so much more. For those of you who have not been here all week, you need to go back and check the replays. Monday through Thursday, remember, I always post the replay on my Facebook page, and it's a YouTube rebroadcast. I put it on YouTube just because I'm doing some other things from a marketing and branding standpoint, and I'm trying to drive any replay activity onto that platform. So that's that explanation for you. But Monday we had comic John Cooperman. John finally returned back to the show after deciding he wanted to host web series and take his comedy tour around the country. He's back, and really an enjoyable time with John Cooperman. Tuesday, we had best-selling author and world-famous actress Rutanya Alda. You'll know her, and you say, who is Rutanya Alda? She's been in like every movie ever made, but she starred with Faye Dunaway in Mommy Dearest. She played Carol Ann, Joan Crawford's assistant. That's Rutanya Alda, beautiful lady. She was also in The Deer Hunter. She played John Savage's wife. I bring that up because I met John Savage back in August at a charity event, and he could not have been nicer, just a super guy. Honestly, I was like, I have no idea who this guy is, but everybody's like, it's John Savage, and I went, oh, cool, it's Fred Savage's brother or uncle or father or something like that. No, he's been in all these anyway. So that shows me these people, and they're just always wonderful. Really a great time to connect with Rutanya. And so she was a dynamic guest. Big thanks to Tony in New Jersey for making that connection happen. Hugely popular episode. It may, if it's not the most popular episode of all of 2015 to date, it's probably right up there in the top 3. So if you want to hear a fun interview with a Hollywood legend, go back and check out Tuesday's show. Last night, of course, we had Rebecca Fisk on. Rebecca is our monthly guest, and she's an intuitive psychic. If you've ever wanted to have a psychic reading, she does this free of charge once a month. We have a whole host of psychic people or psychic friends that are coming onto the show. We have Jesse Knight on October 12th. We have Zoe Nicklaus on October 14th. We've got Lisa Pini October 20th. Rebecca's back October 21st. I'm just looking at the show book right now. I'll also tell you, really cool thing that we've got for all of our guests that have been on the show the last year and really the last 3 years, because I went back and I tried to find as many as I could, and frankly my notes from day one are not the same type of notes that I take today, so I'm learning something new every day. But anybody who's been on the show, especially the last year, if they've got a product for sale on Amazon, I've created this really cool thing called the Rated G Radio Superstar Swag page. It's on every show page that's going to be broadcast between now and the end of the year, and you can click that just like you're listening to tonight, and it's going to take you there. If they've written a book, if they've put out a CD or a movie, all of that is there. So you might hear a fantastic guest like Rutanya Alda, who wrote the Mommy Dearest Diary, and say, well, okay, I'll get that. But then when you get there, you find author Jeff Michaels' Tassa, and so you want to get that. And then you see independent music artist Joseph Eden. You want to buy his album Human. And then you see, a movie that you want to get. So I'm putting every single artist that's been on the show, if they've got a product on Amazon, you've got like a Rated G Radio Superstar Swag page that you can now shop from and help support independent musicians and authors and movie makers worldwide. It's been my pleasure having you here tonight. If you like the show, of course, follow the show. You'll get an email update or text update, your choice. And you can get the unique show link for each show. We broadcast live 5 nights a week, 50 weeks a year. I do this out of the kindness of my heart because I love doing this. So I'm making fresh programming just for you. It's available also as a podcast. Go to Apple iTunes, download the podcast, and you take all 8 million shows that we've done on the road with you anytime that you absolutely want. And with that, my friends, don't drive distracted because I'm getting on the road and I need to get back in one piece. We will see you live tomorrow afternoon on the afternoon dance party live at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Set your clocks, and I will see you then.
You've been listening to Rated G Radio.